Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ryan Kunker. I'm the Director of Channel Sales here at Picus Security. Today, we're going to be discussing taking your security offerings to new heights, how MSSPs can leverage Picus to protect customers and create value. So why would you want to offer attack simulation to your customers? Let's double click on a couple of these. Obtaining actionable data. Every organization out there is looking for prioritized, actionable data to improve their security posture. Running a breach and attack simulation product in those environments can help them get that data. What about optimizing those security controls? They spend a lot of money on these defensive tools that they may put in place, but how do they know they're working efficiently and they're optimized? You have to go out and challenge those policies that are put in place to ensure everything's working effectively. What about other managed service providers out there? Not every managed service provider may be providing services as good as your own. So let's go out and challenge those service providers, ensure that they're providing the top-notch service that we all want out of a managed service provider. There's a massive market opportunity out there for breach and attack simulation services. You can enhance your service portfolio by adding validation to really any tool sale that you might be doing in the cyberspace. You sell a web app firewall, you can add an additional line item for a validation of that firewall a month down the line. So let the firewall get stood up, the policy put in place, and then validate it's working properly. You can identify weak spots and gaps in your customer's environment and have additional cells, whether it be tools or additional services to help that client plug those holes and those gaps. You can improve your own SLA. Maybe you have C-level executives that need more visibility in their security posture. But breach and attack can provide that. Maybe you want to improve the policies and procedures in place to be able to increase the mean time to detect and mitigate. We can help you do that. We can talk about increasing your efficiency. Let's reduce those false positives that your team may be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Let's automate some of those manual tasks. And let's talk about prioritizing accordingly. Prioritizing the mitigations that we want that are the highest priority first. Improving your customer satisfaction is always the end goal. We want to improve the visibility for your customer. We want to help you show ROI if you're doing other services or replacing tool sets. We want to help your customers move to a proactive approach and stop being reactive when the attacks happen. We want you to be able to gain a competitive advantage over other service providers. And our way of doing that with you is offering breach and attack simulation services. You can do this in many different ways and flavors. Ransomware readiness assessments is a very popular service offering to add. Ransomware obviously is a hot topic across the cyber industry. Tabletop exercises. Let's practice our craft so that when an attack actually happens, we know we can respond appropriately. Purple teaming as a service. Remediation support. Here's another opportunity. If we give all the recommendations and remediation data, maybe your MSSP wants to offer remediation support afterwards. Or health checks. The opportunities are endless with a breach and attack simulation offering. So we talked about why you'd want to add it, but how does Picus provide breach and attack simulation services? So we were founded in 2013. For the last 10 years, we've been perfecting our breach and attack simulation platform. But on the way, we've identified some gaps in breach and attack simulation. So we filled those gaps and plugged those gaps with additional modules. Today, our platform offers attack surface management module, cloud posture assessments in the form of cloud audits and cloud simulation. Obviously, our crown jewel, breach and attack simulation. But if that's the perimeter, what about the assumed breach product? Our automated pen testing module can help you with the assumed breach. And then we've identified a pain point with validating SIM rule sets. Our DRV product, or detection engineering product, can help you validate those SIM rule sets. in a couple of minutes instead of a couple of days. But how do you offer this to the market? We look at breach and attack simulation as a whole, and we realize that after 10 years, there's only been about a 5% adoption rate. And why is that? We all can see the value from breach and attack simulation, so why isn't it more adopted across the market? And we've identified the issue. We've been selling continuous licenses to customers that are not necessarily ready or mature enough to deal with all the mitigation data that a platform like this spits out. So how do we walk them down that journey to be able to deal with that instead of selling them that continuous license, having them run a full-scale test and get 900 pages of data that we're setting them up for failure? Well, our way forward is to partner with MSSPs and walk these customers down the journey. We want them to walk down the crawl, walk, run methodology. And what does that look like from Picus? The crawl phase is if an organization isn't ready to handle the continuous testing, we want them to test maybe 1 to 2 times per year. And we can throttle the scope of the tests. Maybe we start off with ransomware and then we move up from there. Or maybe we do it once a year and then the next year we do it twice a year. But we really want to walk them down that journey and help them set up the policies and procedures to be able to take that mitigation data and get better off of it and improve their security posture. And then once they have those policies and procedures in place, we want to start improving or increasing the scope of those tests and reducing the interval between tests. And this is our walk phase. So they've proven the value of validation practices, but now they're wanting to increase those scopes and decrease those intervals. So 3 times a year, 5 times a year, 6 times a year testing, and moving from that ransomware readiness test to maybe the full threat library, or maybe those additional modules that we talked about in the previous slide. This is where they're really increasing and working with the MSSP to grow out this offering. And then when they're ready, we do have that continuous license. When they're ready to run and they're ready to do this monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly, this is time for us to put in a continuous license and add that service offering that they need, and that continuous validation of their security posture. We do that with 2 different licensing models. We offer an interval licensing model to help them in the MSSP crawl and walk, and then the continuous licensing model for the run phase. That's all I had for today. If you have any follow-ups or you want to engage with the Picus team, we'd be happy to do so. Please visit picussecurity.com or feel free to email me at ryan.kunker@picussecurity.com. Thank you and have a great day.